people of the world.
You are watching 100 Degree TV on YouTube.
Here is what you missed on the 100 Degree Show with Butch Harris.
All right, so we're back here, and we're talking about this thing, the complete healing. Now, the complete healing as it relates to what Christ did on the cross, that is the ignition starter or the igniter for all who do believe. But we still need to go through the process of actually fixing the house, rebuilding the house. We're going through a renovation here. So even though the facade may look, pristine, it may look up to speed, there's some things deep down on the inside, right, that needs to be retrofitted, needs to be rebuilt, renovated, whatever the case may be. So the fact of the matter is that as we look at what and who we currently are as it relates and it measures up to what Christ purchased for us, we've got to really ask ourselves the question, am I truly saved to the degree that I can kick back and do nothing? I can kick back and coast. I can kick back and enjoy life. Because I personally believe, and I'm not trying to throw shade or kick up dust, I've been accused of such, but when you consider it from the perspective of, to those who endure to the end, they should be saved. They're the ones who will be saved, the ones who endure to the end. So fainting along the journey, dying along the process of the journey before your time, or simply turning back, or, dying to your purpose, saying, well, I prefer to do something other than what I've been created to do. Whatever the case may be, the issue here is I'm doing my time. I'm doing my time well. I'm being healed in all of the areas of my life, day after day. I'm picking up the cross. I'm following after Christ, and I'm becoming healed, consistently healed, because the complete healing that was purchased for me, that healing, that's what I'm living through in all of the various subcategories of my life. So am I just simply physically healed? That's a good start. But the healing of the mind, the healing of the soul, the healing of the spirit, the healing of the emotions, the complete healing of the being, that is the journey. That is the journey to the blessing, the consistent healing, the consistent saving of the soul, the consistent sanctification. That is the journey. That is the journey. So as I examine myself, I've got to ask myself, am I that business or that corporation who's making money, who's turning a profit, but I'm living outside of my purpose? Because what I was created to do, what I was incorporated to do in Christ, to co-labor with Christ to do, what my purpose is that I received the responsibility for at salvation, am I outside of that purpose? Or am I walking in that purpose and going through my consistent healing, my consistent saving of my soul, the consistent sanctification of who I am? Because of the fall and all of the erroneous things that I was taught, and all of the erroneous things that I practiced that were factual to life, but they weren't the truth of life. Factual, but not truthful. They weren't the truth. It wasn't hinged and built on the truth. It was factual because of situations and circumstances. Well, you have to do this because of this, right? And it's kind of like people would say, well, if the storm is coming, and depending on the type of storm that's coming, you would need to prepare in a particular fashion, because factually speaking, this is the kind of storm that's coming. So you wouldn't prepare for a tornado the way that you prepare for a hurricane, but technically speaking nowadays, they're all the same. They're all the same. You get hurricanes, typhoons, earthquakes, tsunamis, all at the same time, all in the same area. It's like, who's doing this? But anyway, that's another story. So in the process of understanding that the five sense reality and the way we process and we read and we gauge our surroundings through our five gauges or our five senses, that for all intents purposes, that is in a fallen state, and that needs to be saved. Even our senses and the way our senses compute what's going on around us, that needs to be saved. This is the issue of life that sometimes we don't understand, and we just simply chalk it up to be a moral and a behavioral situation that, well, I just don't need to, watch that or say those things and use words that are savory and spicy, and I don't need to hang out with those people. But at the core of it, we are not really in our purpose as it relates to who the Most High has created us to be. We've got a lot of really great religious constructs that we adhere to, but we're not in step with who we've been created to be. So we haven't yet known ourselves. We haven't come into the knowledge of ourselves through Christ, right? We don't know who we are because we don't know Christ's purpose for us. So if we don't know the purpose that we were created for, how could we function in that purpose? So then this is the thing that by default, even though we may claim Christ, this is the thing that by default would cause our lives to be looked at as filthy rags where the Most High is concerned. These are the things that make him say, well, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I never knew you. Because you never knew your purpose. You never knew why I created you, and you never pursued it. So now, because you haven't pursued who you are and what you were created to do, you by default have become a worker of iniquity, because it's one thing to be born in sin, but then it becomes another thing where you even receive Christ and you consistently, by a lack of pursuing who you are, now you become a worker of iniquity, a practicer, manipulator of things and situations and circumstances to benefit you outside of functioning in the scope and the scheme of who and what you were created to be and do. This becomes the da-da-da-da-da moment.
Thank you for watching 100 Degree TV on YouTube. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel if you find our content valuable, and be sure to join us for the next presentation.